Fortunately, the last thing a bank wants to do is own real estate because that means there was a big problem, and I think we all know that that was a big problem. And as JR has often said, it was kind of a problem for both of us though because he was a tenant in the
Mm-hmm.
building when we ended up owning it, so he became our tenant and
Right.
us his landlord. And we worked together as best we could for a while, given the problems of the building, but we needed to sell the building. There's banking regulations that say we cannot hold real estate
Right.
long term.
Yeah.
And I've said to JR from the beginning that he was the natural buyer. He was the
Yes.
tenant. He was successful, obviously, but it took a while for it all to come together. But it finally did.
So first of all, you have to understand that when I took over that building, I cashed in my 401k, so from the telephone company. So I'm all in, and I had a 10-year lease, and everything is going fine. And actually, the Chestertown Spy named me downtown hero for revitalizing High Street. 3 or 4 months later, I get a notice that he's reneged on payments to the bank, and now he's losing the building. Well, can you imagine what that felt like?
Yeah.
And then I started interacting with Rob Thompson here at the bank. He's always been a perfect gentleman, very professional. And we did go through some challenging times, but Rob was there to help. Kristen was there to help as well, too. Reached out to Todd Strong a couple times. And then when Glenn came on board, it was more leadership. Not saying he had a better understanding of the bank's position, my position.
There were rumors that were just not true.
Yes.
That made us both look bad in some people's eyes. That just wasn't fair.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes, I mean, at one point it got to a peak where I just thought I was going to walk up and down the street some.
Yes.
And people would stop me and say, "What's going on? You're throwing JR out next week?" And it's like, no, we're not throwing JR out next. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff goes on. And so, we're in the business of banking. We're not in the business of owning real estate and being landlords.
Right.
So this is a win-win. I think we wore each other down.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
really
I
what
agree.
happened. We wore each other down,
Yeah.
and the price came somewhere in the middle of probably
Right,
what
it
we
did.
both wanted, and that's
Yeah.
typically when a deal gets made.
Exactly.
We would have liked to had more money for the building, but Jared would have liked to pay less for the building,
Right.
but we felt that we also have a responsibility to the community too. It's not all profit.
It's interesting because so many customers come in and say that I look happier, I'm healthier since I bought the building. And I said, you have to understand when you put your 401k in something and then the carpet's pulled from underneath though, you're just like, wow. And then when we were able to get through it, I was working with the USDA, the Department of Housing, Economic Development Board, and we all came here and met with Glenn. So Glenn understood the process that I was going through. I understood the process that he was going through. So after months and months and months, we found a way to make this deal work. I received a loan from the Greater Chestertown Initiative. I got that last week, so we just ordered a new boiler system, heating systems, air conditioning systems, and that should cut my electric bill by $3,000 to $4,000 a month. The next phase, I have a loan coming through I have a loan coming through from the county with the new Economic Development Board. We're asking for 50. If we get that, then we'll be able to do our blown installation. We'll be able to get an air handler for the kitchen and a new walk-in freezer.
Some of these programs, particularly the federal programs at times, you have to get a larger loan for them to be feasible, in my view. To do a $200,000 or $300,000 loan, once you go through the fees and the closing costs and all, it gets very expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes the state and local programs are
One
better.
thing that I have learned going through this whole process is it seems like most Kent County, I can't say all, did not realize about all these different programs. So it's just like the USDA. I mean, we're a county less than 20,000 people. There's a lot of programs out there.
Yeah.
But everything has to check. It has to be Main Street Initiative. It has to be an A&E district. It has to be self-sustained neighborhood. So the more things that we get done, the more funding will be available to help Kent County. When you look at the price per square foot in Chestertown, it's actually higher than Easton, like by $2 a square foot. So I found that very interesting when we were doing the case studies for the USDA and Department of Housing Community Development Loan. So I think one thing we may need to reevaluate that, are offering some like tax credits, because the thing is that it's so expensive to open up a new business, and it's a long process. So you have to write a business plan, you have to present it, it's return. So you're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get public funding to help you, and most people can't wait that long. So I think if we could expedite the process, like making this up, we need $100,000 to do it, then we'll give you $10,000 to get the ball rolling. And guess what? If it doesn't get the ball rolling, it fails, then at least you got your $10,000 out of it that people are taking interest. So I think incremental payments would be very beneficial to entrepreneurs.
There's a lot of people dedicated to this, and now there's some resources like Kay McIntosh. That was funded. That's a 3-year commitment between a private party and the town to do that, and she's working every day to try to make things better. So you mentioned Jamie is involved from Kent County. We need more though. I'd like to see the college to continue to take a role in helping with this redevelopment too, because I believe that it can be a win-win between the town and the college with their resources. I mean, they're going to certainly be doing a lot, I think, down at the waterfront, and so bridging between the waterfront and their campus, and I think it could really be a great thing for the area, Chestertown particularly.
I agree.
So is there a Chesapeake Bank discount at JR's?
I don't know. I mean, that's what we
Was that part of
consider.
the
I just
deal?
asked for a credit card and he turned me down. I don't know.
No, don't start that rumor. We don't offer credit cards, so we did not turn him down.